Yes, good afternoon and welcome to Open Forum on Mainland 98.3 FM. 2 hours of open mic for our dear listener to share your thoughts and your contribution as regards all of the hot stories in the past 1 week. My name is Omobola Sandra and I'll be hosting you through a plethora of stories that we're going to be looking through this afternoon. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining me. All right, of course, you know how we run it. We have a lot of stories, a lot of reports, a lot of top news that we're going to be looking through. But of course, the program was designed specifically with you, our dear listener, in mind. Yes, as the story goes on, or as I reel out the stories we're going to be looking through, it is left for you. We would like to hear your own analysis, your own thoughts, your own contribution as regards the stories that we're going to be looking through. So every Thursday, 2 hours dedicated to our dear listener, because your voice is very important. Your thought is very important. Your contribution to nation building is very, very important. Yes, so you are welcome to Open Forum on Mainland 98.3 FM. I have a lot of stories here that we're going to be looking through, and I won't be doing this alone. I would also be having a guest joining in to just give a brief context and analysis, expert analysis as regards to stories we'll be looking through. Then the phone line is open for you to call in to share your thoughts. It's not just via phone call. We're live on Facebook, so if you're unable to reach us via the phone line, please do well to share your contributions via our live streaming platforms on Facebook and YouTube at Mainland 98.3 FM. At Mainland 98.3 FM. Okay, so you can drop your comments in the live chat section, and as the show progresses, we take all of those contributions. For today, our analyst is just going to be joining us for about an hour, after which he'll be stepping aside to do other things. So in the course of that 1 hour, we may emphasis on the word may. We may not be able to take phone calls. So I would advise, or I would suggest, that you share your contribution via our Facebook platform or YouTube platform at Mainland 98.3 FM. So once you drop it, as soon as we're done with our guest, then I take all of these messages and then let the contribution come in. Let the counter analysis, the counter contributions as well come in. Let the banter begin. All right, so it is specifically, just as I mentioned, I can't reiterate this enough, it is specifically dedicated to our listener, for you to have a platform where you get to share your thoughts, because we understand that a lot of our other shows, there's not enough talk time for our listener, and also from Mainland Focus to Situation Room to Midweek Politics to Political Roundtable, there's just not enough time for you to air your voice. So 2 hours dedicated to you, for you to air your voice, share your thoughts, share your own analysis. Of course, as long as you keep things clean, as long as whatever it is that you're pushing out is facts. Very, very important. Facts. There's no need for us to be sensitive or no need for any bias or anything. There's no religious bias, ethnic bias. There's no need for us to politicize sensitive issues as well. It's just, let's have logical conversations, just very, very important. Critical conversations, very important. Issue-based conversations, very, very important, because at the end of the day, we all want one thing, which is a greater Nigeria. This is Open Forum on Mainland 98.3 FM. When I come back, we begin.
Critical conversations in the political, economic, and social space has become extremely important.
There's a need for a lot of people, not even the political party, those in the civil society, those who believe in Nigerian emancipation of people from the shackle of poverty.
More than ever before, Nigerians now deserve to be heard. We all need a voice.
Nigeria of nowadays, we are suffering. People come on Gari, we can't buy Gari again. Gari has come as a cocaine. Food we can't buy, rice we can't buy. We can't beat our.
Jᴏɪᴜ Omobola Sandra every Thursday, 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. on mainland 98.3 FM to lend your voice and speak to the real issues affecting the Nigerian state. Open Forum, where time to talk is now.
When the airwaves in your market become more and more crowded, it's time to break it open and really stand out. Broken Air is here.
On mainland 98.3 FM, the sound of Lagos.
Yes, the time to talk is now on Open Forum on mainland 98.3 FM. So let's get into the nitty-gritty of it. I'll start off with this rather interesting story here. Apparently, we haven't heard the last of Senator Abdul Ningi of Bauchi Central. As it is now, the information reaching us now is that the senator has written the Senate President, Godswill Akpabio, demanding that the suspension placed on him be lifted. All right, let's not quickly forget that on March 12, the Senate sent Ningi on 3-month suspension over his claim that the 2024 budget was padded to the tune of 3.7 trillion naira. And what we have now is that Senator Ningi has written Senate President Godswill Akpabio through his lawyer, Femi Falana, SAN, noting that his suspension was not lifted in the next 7 days. He will drag the Senate before the Federal High Court, and in there's just a lot to take away from that one. I'm sure we all have, a background to that. All of what happened from the BBC interview to the plenary session where Ningi was suspended. And as it is now, following that particular suspension, Ningi stepped down from his position as chairman of the Northern Senators Forum and then was replaced by APC Senator Abdulaziz Yar'Adua, representing Katsina Central. So with this new, update now as regards this, that's what we're going to be looking at first. But before then, I have my guest joining in already via the phone line. It's a pleasure to have you this beautiful afternoon, Barrister Curtis Adigba. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Okay. Thank you very much. So, just a quick background to, Senator Ningi's situation in the Senate. And here we are now. And, there had been questions around the suspension of Senator Ningi, the fact that, what about a voice for the constituency which Senator Ningi represents, which is Bauchi Central. So there's been a lot of conversations around that. But since March 12 up until date, March 28th, there's not been anything much we've heard from the Senate as regards whether or not the suspension will be lifted, because according to what we know is that, a senator can't be suspended for more than 14 days. All right. And the reports that he was suspended for 3 months. But then with Senator Ningi coming forward now with, litigations against the Senate President, just a quick analysis of that one, Barrister Curtis.
Hello?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. So as regards Senator Ningi, taking Senate President Godswill Akpabio to through litigation, what are your thoughts as regards that? That's what I asked.
Okay, I think, fundamentally, every Nigerian has a right to seek for redress where he or she believes that existing rights have been abridged by the actions or inaction of some person. But what I found very disturbing about the new issue is that the Senate clearly lacks the appetite to examine the allegations. So that there was an attempt to keep quiet by the threat that were coming from colleagues. And then the fact that I do understand that the Senate as a body has got rules that regulate operations, right?
Okay.
But those rules are not superior to the provisions of the Constitution. The Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, which talks about fair hearing, which also talks about the fact that you cannot be a judge in your own case. Don't forget that a senator brought a motion alleging that his privileges have been breached. Other senators who agreed with him to levy the charges against Senator Ningyi, cast a judgment over him and pass judgment over him. So that's a violation of our constitutional principle of fair hearing. Now, the second point is that the courts have said and stated clearly the power to suspend a member of the National Assembly does not exist beyond 14 days. And so, for the Senate to have suspended it for 90 days, again, it is violation of the judgment of the court that has not been set aside. And the third point is, I don't believe at all that the Senate has the power to suspend the member. Don't forget that all senators are equal before the law. The fact that we have the president of the Senate or deputy or ranking member or senior member is just for administrative purpose. Senator Fabio is not superior to Senator Benin. In fact, if he's removed tomorrow, he becomes an ordinary senator like Ningyi. So where does it derive the power to suspend the people that have been Ningyi represented? And this is why I have always advocated for the fact that what we need to do, where a senator or a member of the National Assembly is in breach of the excellent rules of the House, there are ways to punish that senator or House of Rep member. You can deny them the allowance for the period, but you cannot suspend the representation of the voice of the people they represent, because they are for which they have been suspended, okay, was not done in consultation with the members of their constituency. So you don't have the power to suspend. You can only say, okay, you can attend the plenary session, you may not speak. Or if you attempt to speak, I will not recognize you for 14 days. Your salaries and allowances for 14 days will not be paid as punishment. But you don't go suspending the senator for 90 days. A senator that was elected by young people to represent it, just like if you were elected to represent the people. So I support the move by Senator Ningyi to get the Senate to suspend the suspension, to go to court and seek for redress. And I'm sure to get redress.
Hello?
Hello?
All right, but is there a possibility of actually getting anything out of this? I mean, with Senate, so you've already mentioned that, all senators are equal, just because the Senate president doesn't. But then, I mean, there is a need for order, in the Senate, and there were allegations, strong allegations by Senator Ningyi as regards, budget padding or no budget padding and all of that. So, don't you think that there's what exactly do you think should be the way forward now from Akpabio?
Okay, so now let me give you a practical example.
Okay.
Some justices of the Supreme Court who wrote and made certain critical allegations against the former CGN, Tᴏɪᴜᴏ. Now, you know that I'm sure you recall that Tᴏɪᴜᴏ did not sit in judgment over the allegations made against him. What he did was he offered to resign.
Okay.
He could have. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Akpabio's leadership was brought to question by the allegations made by Abdulmindi, by saying that he superintended the passing of a budget that is unconstitutional. The best way to have approached that situation is to get people from outside, independent people from outside, to look at the allegations that were made against the Senate, right? Mm-hmm. After the investigation, if the Senate is clear, then you can then punish Abunini. It is not enough to make claims of breach of privileges, and then you go ahead and punish him by sitting in judgment, because you are the one who accused him of breaching your privilege. And then you consider the panel of the General Senate pass over him in the face of clear evidence. Now, let me give you an example. Senator Jᴏɪᴜ, I think from Cross River North or Central, stood up after Mingi and said, look, I am a ranking member of the Senate, and I'm aware that some of you sitting down here got 500 million each as constituency allowance, which I did not get. They cut his microphone. Mm. So there is something there that needs to be investigated, and this is an attempt to cover up. Otherwise, it's very simple. We can get some set of auditors. Okay, budgeting. You know that body called budget is that monitors budget in Nigeria.
Yes.
They have actually come out to say yes, Lindsay was right. Mm-hmm. That the budget was padded. Now, a budget is padded when the budget is increased by some amount of money, but that amount of money is not specifically attached to any type of project. Mm. And that's what happened.
Mm. All right. Now, oh no, I think I lost our guest there. Yes, you are still listening to Open Forum, by the way, on mainland 98.3 FM. And the first topic on the front burner this morning is Senator Abdul Ningi. Let's not quickly forget, he was the one who, brought to the attention, the public's attention, the fact that a certain 3.7 trillion naira is hanging somewhere in our budget, not allocated to anything, and he doesn't know when that particular budget was passed. So now he's demanding restatement. I think we have our guest back. Okay, yes, Mr. Curtis.
So the point I'm making is that the senator claimed that the budget was padded. Now, what was the response of the presidency? Bayo Onanuga, speaking on behalf of the presidency, said, yes, the budget was increased from the original estimate submitted by the president. Mm-hmm. But in the spirit of cooperation, the president attempted to it.
Mm. By the National Assembly. It was increased by the National Assembly, yes.
Yes. So the question is, what was the increase sum meant to do and for who? Mm. And this is the point that Senator Ningi is making. And what a serious country will do is to get auditors, external auditors, reputed auditors to look at the account and then confirm whether Ningi lied or not. Because the Senate of Nigeria is not a court of law. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The Senate cannot be a judge in its own court. Mm. Because if Ningi had committed a crime, okay, let me give you a practical example of what happened in the Senate. Mm.
Okay.
Recall that Senator Ɪssᴜᴜ was suspended for 6 months.
Mm. Yes.
He decided not to challenge it because of the optics at the time. Don't forget that Senator Ningi was one of the senators who connived with Bukola Saraki to emerge as Senate Majority Leader. Mm. Saraki as President and Ɪkwē of the PDP as Deputy President of the Senate.
Yes.
Now, after an attempt to realign the Senate and gain more support, the Senate President Bukola Saraki then removed Ɪssᴜᴜ. as majority leader. And that led to some serious crisis in the Senate. But then Alin Dume came out one day with an allegation because the Senate was moving so hard on the former Controller General of Customs, Hamid Ali. And Dume came to the floor of the Senate and alleged that Senator Hamid Ali imported an armored Range Rover into the country and did not pay the full duty. And that when that car was impounded on its way to Abuja, Bukola Saraki declared war on Hamid Ali. He also alleged that Senator Dino Melaye did not graduate from ABU Zaria as he claimed. The Senate took its time to investigate both allegations before Ndume was suspended. Again, they violated the principle of fair hearing as enshrined in our constitution. Alin Ndume chose not to challenge that. Now, before Alin Ndume, we had Senator Nzeribe from Imo State, who accused the then president of the Senate, Anyi Powers, of embezzling 20 million. You know? Again, the matter was investigated, Nzeribe was suspended, he went to the court, and the court said the Senate lost the power to suspend him. So, the fact that there's an allegation against individual senators does not mean the entire Senate is under attack. So, if we must make a clear distinction between the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and members of that Senate. So, if Abunimbi is accusing the leadership of the National Assembly or the Senate of padding the budget, then to answer to him or answer to Nigerians, the right thing to do is not to suspend him, but to allow themselves to be investigated by independent authorities, and if they are found not to have done so, or that Nimbi lies, then you can seek for appropriate punishment against him.
Right. Thank you very much. Because we have other stories to look at, just very quickly now, as regards, whistle blowing in the Senate. I wanted to ask a certain question, although you have partially, answered it. But, in cases of whistle blowing in the Senate, what exactly is the right process to getting these things out?
So, what the Senate will require is that first and foremost, if there are issues that you are not clear about, you can seek clarification from the leadership of the Senate.
In plenary,
if you are not
or in writing?
You can seek. Yeah, you can go to the leadership of the Senate and seek for information. Now, if you are not satisfied with the information given to you by the leadership of the Senate, right?
Yes.
You can invoke the Senate to go into an executive section. The executive section will then discuss this issue, okay?
Okay.
And if you are not satisfied, you can go public. But sometimes the problem here is that when someone who is not liked by the leadership begins to ask certain questions around, the leadership of the Senate will treat as an affront and then want to deal with the person. Look at the show that they put up that day was not even necessary at all, because the allegations made by Senator Ningi could have been cast out in an executive section. But they decided to go public because they felt that they had a point to make. And when it turned out badly for them, then they resulted into suspending Senator Ningi. Do you understand?
Yes.
Because ask yourself, what was the metric that was used in allocating constituency? Because the answer by the senators, if you listen to Senator Pᴏɪᴜᴜ, the majority leader,
yes,
is that he got money to do solar, to do road, and to do certain projects, and that he has no apology to anybody. Now, what was the metric used to distribute constituency funds to members of the Senate? Is it the size of the senatorial district? Is it connection to the leadership of the Senate? And I'm asking this question because we have heard from Senator Jᴏɪᴜ, who said,
hello?
Heard that Senator Nedwoko from Delta State got 1 billion.
Yes, Senator Nedwoko said he got 1 billion.
We heard from Senator Baribe from Abia that he got 266 million.
Mm-hmm.
We heard from Senator Lindzume that he got 200 million.
Mm.
So the question is, what led to what was the major consideration?
Yes.
What metric was used to give Ned Nwoko 1 billion? I think Dume, the chief whip 200 million. Senator Jaribe nothing. Senator Abaribe 266. Even and Senator Okoye 500 million. On what basis were these funds distributed? That itself lends itself to corruption. Because if the leadership of the Senate can whimsically distribute money to senators, and there is no basis for doing so, it speaks to corruption. And we also heard that the Senate President or the President of the Senate, Fabio, got 2.5 billion to supply freezers or something to his constituents. From the same budget. These are not items within the federal government purview. So I do not. So you don't begin to wonder what exactly is going on here. And that is the reason why this Senate needs to open up itself. Now, like I said before, the idea of constituency project or fund is not new to constitutional democracy. In the United States, it's called earmark. And they used to practice it until it was suspended in 2010 because of corruption.
Okay.
Now, in 2021, the Democrat-led House restored it. But now there are guardrails about how the funds should be used. First of all, the senators or the House of Rep members don't have a... They don't nominate the contractors that will do the job. What we find in our own country is that these guys get the funds directly to go and do what they want to do with it, or nominate the contractors to do the job. So that's what the problem is.
Well, there's a lot to take away from this particular report here, especially with the fact that ever since the suspension of Senator Ningi, we haven't really heard anything as regards any probing or investigation, digging deeper into these allegations of budget padding, whether or not, it's something that even deserves the attention of the Senate, the House of Reps, or even the presidency, as that's the executive. But now that we have Senator Ningi writing to Senate President Godswill Akpabio through his lawyer Fᴏᴜ SAN, noting that if his suspension was not lifted in the next 7 days, he would drag the Senate before the Federal High Court. So let's see what happens in the next 7 days.
Okay, but I think actually I need to correct something.
Yes.
It is not true that there has been no response from the higher quarters in the land. In fact, I think the president in one of his houses jokingly said those who claim that the budget was padded do not understand arithmetic. I'm not sure you heard of it or read of the comment by the president.
No, but what I mean is there should be an official probe or an official
authorities that can do that.
Okay.
The Senate can ask that it would be probed.
Okay.
Or that particular budget is probed and Nigerians will inform of the outcome of the probe. They have not done that. They won't do that apparently because it's not in their best interest to do so. Now, the other authority that can do that is the presidency. But then the presidency may be accused of interfering with the internal affairs of the National Assembly. But again, the argument must be made that this has nothing to do with the internal affairs of the National Assembly. This has to do with the national budget of Nigeria submitted by the President to the National Assembly. Okay? So, the President can order an investigation to say, look, what exactly is going on here with the budget? After all, the budget is a document of the executive. So the executive can actually investigate that budget. And so far, there is no appetite on the side of those authorities to investigate what has happened or the allegation made by the government.
Yes, That exactly is what I was saying. But now that we have, something brewing between Senator Ningi and the Senate, maybe we've not heard the last of this budget padding conversations in days to come. And so let's move on now to the next story very quickly, because I know I have limited time with Barrister Curtis. We're also going to be looking at Okwama community killings and the aftermath of it. So there was a Vanguard investigation into the Okwama situation. What we have is that there's a paramount ruler of Igbo community, His Royal Highness Ofongo, who came forward to make some statements as regards the petitions that they have made to the presidency, to the state government, to security agencies as regards a certain militant leader that had been devastating the communities in recent times, or for a few years now. Although we got reports yesterday that the security agencies have tracked down this militant leader to Rivers, and he had been taken down. But then there's a lot of revelations that have been made as regards what may or may not have transpired in Delta State. All right, and that's as regards the land disputes between Okwama and Okoloba communities. So we have here that petitions had actually gone out to the presidency. Petition had actually gone out to the Senate, state government, and security agencies that something is happening here. We need to come into it. Barrister Curtis, also remember there was a statement from our Senate President Godswill Akpabio that stirred the pool sometime last week as regards the fact that questioning the nationality of the perpetrators of the killings of the soldiers. Are these people Niger Deltans? Are they not Niger Deltans? What exactly happened? Who are they? And all of that. That question also came up. And here we are now. We're having conversations as regards militancy and the government's engagement of private security as regards the protection of our oil wells and all of that, and what it had now led to. So Barrister Curtis, there's just a lot to take away actually from this reports that we have here, or this investigation that we have here. But let's start with this situation where we have our government engaging private security firms, and a lot of people have raised doubts as regards these people, case in point Tantita and the person behind Tantita, who everyone knows as a former militant leader, and the power that they have in these communities and all of that. So let's start with that. What are your thoughts as regards the government engaging private security firms to secure our pipelines?
So first and foremost, you can describe the Niger Delta as an enclave of militancy. You have different warlords or different militant leaders who are non-state actors but are more powerful than the state actors themselves. And you don't need to know more about their status than the importance that the political leadership of this country has attached to them. I mean, there is a particular one who acquired some warship from Norway and is in the creek of the Delta there. He's been known to be so influential that he can influence the choice of who becomes the governor of Delta State. He's also had important visitors, including the president. For whatever reasons, before and after the elections, he's a leader in the community, in the state, and in the country. He has his own foot soldiers. In fact, he is the beneficiary of a major contract to secure the pipelines. And of course, you remember that at the point, another militant leader who was also very close to the president and who was praising him to the high heaven also came out to express his displeasure that the other militant leader was given that contract and he wasn't given. So you have pockets of powers and authority who are not in any way in government exercising powers and authority above and beyond that of those who are in government in this area. So when the president of the Senate, Fabio, says that those who carried out the killings in Okwama are not likely to have come from those communities, it's either taken out of ignorance or deliberate mischief. Because I can tell you, he didn't say so, but what he wanted to do, or what he wanted to say, was simply to say that those who carried out the attacks came from other parts of the country, probably bandits or herdsmen and all that. But he stopped short of saying that. The truth is that in every community we have people who can carry out dastard acts, very dastardly acts like we saw in Okwama. And if this matter is eventually investigated, it will become so clear to you that the conditions that manifested in this killing have been there for a long time. Now, we have asked and we continue to ask these critical questions. Who deployed the soldiers into the community? It's not enough to say they went on peacekeeping mission. What did the police do before they couldn't cope with the situation? Were mobile policemen deployed there to contain the situation and they failed? Why were soldiers sent in there without the necessary equipment and arms to defend and protect themselves? When did we start engaging soldiers in peace negotiations? Because when you listen to the speech given by the president, by the way, one of his finest speeches given since he became the president, the atmosphere was sober as it should be. He wore the right set of clothes. He hit all the emotional notes. He expressed the gratitude of a grateful nation to these people. He acknowledged their sacrifices.
Yes.
He went ahead to seek for help for their families.
Yes.
And he recognized that they were patriots and heroes and gave them national awards. And I thank him for finding the time to attend their funeral in person. But we have to ask these critical questions. Why were these soldiers deployed to go and make peace and they were not armed? Like the president said, they didn't go there with gunships, they didn't go there with bombs and grenades and all that. Who deployed them, and why was it appropriate for unarmed soldiers to be deployed into a raging conflict?
And such high-ranking officials.
And yes. And we are talking about a grizzled officer who had participated in anti-terrorism in different parts of the country. So why were they sent in sheepishly into a volatile and raging situation? Was the person who sent them, was he thinking that their mere appearance in military uniform was enough to calm these communities? So we need a lot of investigation. Who killed them? And I'm happy that the president also commended the military yesterday.
Yes.
For being strategic in going after those who killed these men. The initial approach was that these communities must pay a huge price. But I thank the president for a change of tone last night. He commended the military for doing it in a better way. They should go for those who committed a heinous crime. They should be found and they should be brought to justice on behalf of these men and their families. But having said that, the government must take steps to begin to deal with these militants, these militant leaders who have the capability and the capacity to wreak this kind of havoc. You know?
Yes.
So it's and then look, you asked about why the government is going to give to private individuals contract to survey national assets. It is because our military and the paramilitary have spread thin. You know the number of policemen we have in the country? We have, the estimates are about 200,000.
200,000.
A population of 200 million. and then you know how many of them are attached to protocol and security for VIPs, their wives, their properties, and then private individuals who can afford them. You see some convoys of some high government functionaries. You see over 50 mobile policemen. So where do you have security? Where do you have policemen to protect our pipelines? And especially the places where the pipelines are found. Do you understand?
Yes.
So I think government try to say, okay, look, here is the reality. As in as much as we want our national assets to be protected by members of our armed forces or members of the paramilitary, we definitely cannot do that because of where these pipes are located. We cannot do that because of the militancy in those parts of the country. Okay, so they're choosing an option. But again, this same attitude of awarding this contract to individuals is stirring up more problems, because those who want a piece of the cake are also causing disruption to the pipeline to prove to the government that the people you have hired cannot do the job and we can do it better. So it's a race to the rabbit hole. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Barrister Curtis. I mean, just very wholesome, the analysis of that. Because I was also going to go into proliferation of arms and weapons for non-state actors in the Niger Delta and the upsurge of militancy in the Niger Delta. Some people have even compared it to, oh, look at that. There's militancy in Niger Delta. There's banditry in the north, and it's things that there's kidnapping in the southwest. So let's also look at this conversation between because what we have from Chief Tᴏɪᴜᴜ now is, and today we all see the result of that act of desperation and the unnecessary loss of precious Nigerian lives. And you now have Senator Jᴏɪᴜ, that's the governor of Bayelsa State, countering that, accusing Silva of politicizing the killings and wondering why the ex-minister chose to dance on the graves of slain soldiers in his false allusion to the use of non-state actors in the governorship poll in the state. So the use of non-state actors, generally speaking, now, whether it is for the protection of our pipelines or security of our pipelines, even though a lot of people have questioned that due to the fact that the recent reports were all right. So if we have that arrangement, and here we are, we still have the fact that politicians are also using some of these people, hence the availability of sophisticated weapons and arms for these non-state actors. So the purpose of these soldiers in Okoma, or the fact that they went there and they were outgunned or whatnot, and let's start from the back and forth between Jᴏɪᴜ and Tᴏɪᴜᴜ.
So my simple response is that between these two politicians, all that you have going on there is not political sophistry, no substance. There's a difference, it's a distinction without a difference. They are all the same, two sides of one pen, of one coin. And I will explain that to you quickly. Tᴏɪᴜᴜ was the Minister of State for Petroleum when the contract to protect those pipelines were signed and given to the non-state actor. So what is he talking about? This is the usual kind of thing you see in our government. Government officials don't see any problem with the country until they are no longer in their position. Then they begin to see the problem. Can Tᴏɪᴜᴜ by himself raise his hand and say before God that he did not use non-state actors in the last election in Bayelsa State? He did. He had his private army that he intended and actually used for rigging the election. It was just that he was overpowered because of the power of incumbency. And when Jᴏɪᴜ is talking about someone dancing on the grave of the dead, when did they acquire that morality? These are people who don't care about other human beings. All they want is just power and how they use it. Even when they pretend to care about the people, it's simply because they see voters and they don't see human beings. So that is the whole truth. DOD himself is involved in the use of private army for election. He's still doing it. Iirsᴛ was also involved and he's still doing it. In fact, he has a lot of bodyguards around him who are not state actors. Who is paying for them? And what does he use them for? So this is the simple truth. Both of them lack the moral platforms to advocate on these issues. And they should just allow Nigerians to face their suffering in peace. Okay?
Yes.
Now having said that, we talk about these people protecting the pipelines and then yet crude oil is still being stolen so much. Well, I want to tell you that if it's not because of the role they are even playing, probably we'll be having 100% of the crude oil being stolen. Because you must also understand that even though they're working for the government, they also have to make money from other sources. So they play a double-edged game here. While they are on one hand, they are assuring the government that they are protecting the pipelines, and in some cases they do. On the other hand, they are also benefiting from what is being siphoned illegally from the country. So we've got to think deeper and then innovate on how this issue is going to be handled.
Okay.
So long as you depend on these guys to protect the pipeline, you will never have your crude supply in full. Okay? Government can. You remember? I think the head of the Transcorp. There was this heated argument between the former Minister of State of Petroleum and Tᴡɪᴛᴛᴇʀ, who is the chairman of Transcorp.
Yes.
About how much of crude oil the company was losing. And the minister answered that he was rather ignorant of the real situation or was just deliberately being mischievous. But again, the truth is, of course, we know that the amount of theft of crude oil going on in the Niger Delta cannot just be carried out by private hands. If you dig deeply, you also find some official connivance. So it goes beyond what we hear and what we see.
Oh, well, all right. Finally, also very quickly, let's look at this statement here from, or let's look at the reaction of the military as regards what happened in Okwama, because what we have is whether or not there had been reprisal attacks, there had been burning of villages and all of that. There's even a report here that we have of Chief Edwin Clark, who came forward to say that even his home was ransacked, that soldiers came to his house to go through his things in his house. So the reaction of the military as well, just very quickly, let's get your analysis of it.
Well, I think that initially there was too much outpouring of emotion. And you must understand that in the conflict between emotion and reason, emotion wins 100%. So when it happened, and given the outpouring of grief and emotion and the sentiment by Nigerians that those who carried out this senior crime must pay a huge price, the military moved into the area, and there was a total blanket of the press. Now, if they had allowed the press, or rather impeded the press in their operation, at least we have the benefit of hearing from an alternative source. So what we are hearing today is from the members of the communities themselves about what the military did to them. It was an indiscriminate attack on this community from what we are hearing. The military has come out to say, no, that didn't happen. We were strategic in our approach. But then who is there to collaborate what the military said? But if the military had allowed the press to be impeded in their search for these criminals, today we will have the advantage of hearing from the press, from at least selected journalists who accompany them on the trip or on the operation. So we don't have that. So we are then left to choose what to believe. And I'm sure that a lot of Nigerians would believe, because given what we saw in OD, in Bayelsa State, how the military went in there after some of their members were killed, You heard what happened in Choba. And incidentally, the then chief of army staff, Victor Malo, made light of the situation until it happened to him in Zakibia. And then he became very furious. So I think that the purpose of history is not to make men happy. The purpose of history is to make us wiser. And if we don't learn from history, we are bound to make the same mistake. I thought that the army would have learned a thing or two from what happened in Nodi and Zakibiam, and would have allowed pressmen to be embedded with them, in their journey in searching out these communities for those who committed these crimes. But unfortunately, that didn't happen. And now the army is battling for its reputation. Yes.
All right. Well, I understand, Barrister Curtis, that you need to step aside very soon. But thank you very much for joining the conversation on Open Forum this afternoon. I sincerely appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. Thank you.
All right. Yes. So now that we have our guest step aside, we can open the phone line for our listener to join the conversation. It is Open Forum, after all. It's been designed for you to join the conversation, get your voice out there as regards all of the hot news, all of the trending stories or the top news in the past 1 week. We'll take a very short break now, and then when we come back, we go full throttle into the phone lines and also messages on our WhatsApp and Facebook platforms. Don't forget that it's not just via the phone. You can, if you're struggling to get across to us via the phone line, you can always send a text message or a WhatsApp message to 0913 600410. 0913 600410, or drop your messages on our Facebook platform. Yes, on the live chat section. Just drop it there and we'll read them out as the show progresses. When we come back, we still have a lot of other stories that we need to also quickly look through before we wrap things up for the day. This is Open Forum on Mainland 98.3 FM.
Critical conversations in the political, economic, and social space has become extremely important.
There's a need for a lot of people, not even the political party, those in the civil society, those who believe in Nigerian emancipation of people from the shackle of poverty.
More than ever before, Nigerians now deserve to be heard. We all need a voice.
Nigeria of nowadays, we are suffering. People come and Gari, we can't buy Gari again. Gari has come inside, Gari has come as a cocaine. Food we can't buy, rice we can't buy, we can't feed our...
Jᴏɪᴜ Omobola Sandra every Thursday, 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. on Mainland 98.3 FM to lend your voice and speak to the real issues affecting the Nigerian state. Open Forum. Your time to talk is now.
Stop paying attention to the hustle and bustle of Lagos. Take a chill pill.
Problem in the feeling. Calm down. Holiday to Mozambique. Let me go to Mozambique.
On the beach, we have the perfect guide to your destination. Mainland 98.3 FM. The sound of Lagos.
Dear Nigerians, I am determined, I repeat, to give you the affordable and reliable power.
The stakes are higher than ever.
Government policy does not support youth in this country. So if you say you have any idea, one day, one way or the other.
The conversations are louder than imagined. The expectations are greater. The demand for quality blueprints needed to make informed decisions is constantly being reviewed.
You can't start hiding under party or anything. We are leaders that are entrusted by our people. Come and speak on their behalf.
The Situation Room on 98.3 Mainland FM provides the platform where all of your demands are met. Issue-based conversations about politics, policies, leadership and governance in Nigeria and around the world. Join us every Mondays through Fridays from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. as we engage and interact towards setting the agenda for proper accountability and public engagements. The Situation Room is here. We welcome the roommates.
Critical conversations in the political, economic, and social space has become extremely important.
There's a need for a lot of people, not even the political party, those in the civil society, those who believe in Nigerian emancipation of people from the shackle of poverty.
More than ever before, Nigerians now deserve to be heard. We all need a voice.
Nigeria of nowadays, we are suffering. People come and Gari, we can't buy Gari again. Gari has come as a cocaine. Food we can't buy, rice we can't buy, we can't feed our
Jᴏɪᴜ Omobola Sandra every Thursday, 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. on mainland 98.3 FM to lend your voice and speak to the real issues affecting the Nigerian state. Open Forum. Your time to talk is now.
Thank you very much for staying with us. Yes, it is still mainland 98.3 FM. It is still still open forum. Time check right now is 2 p.m. Yes, that is the time right now. And we are still having conversations as regards different stories that have trended in the past 1 week. Okay, so for the next 1 hour, it's officially open mic for you to join the conversation. 0913 6000 410 0913 6000 410. That is the number to call. We can take messages and WhatsApp messages as well on 0913 6000 430 0913 6000 430. And not to forget that we're live on Facebook and YouTube. So we are taking messages from the live chat sections on those platforms as well at mainland 98.3 FM. So let's have a conversation. So far, we've only treated 2 stories. We still have a host of other stories. But let's hear what you have to say. Hello, good afternoon. Hello? Hello? Okay. Maybe you should call back. I can't hear anything. It's kind of blank there. Okay, 0913 6000 410. That's the number to call. 0913 6000 410. Or send messages to 0913 6000 430. So the first story we looked at this afternoon was the report coming in that Senator Abdul Ningi, who brought to the public the allegations on budget padding in the Senate, is taking Senator Godswill Akpabio, the Senate President, or the entire Senate to court, saying that if he is not reinstated within the next 7 days, he's going to take the entire Senate to court. So that was the first story we had a conversation around, and that's as regards whistleblowing in the Senate. Can senators be suspended? There's a lot that I took away from what Barrister Curtis mentioned. First and foremost is the fact that the Senate President the Senate President or the Senate cannot act as accuser, prosecutor, and judge, jury, executioner in the case, saying that this is, and I also went further to say that this is in utter violations of provisions of Section 36 of the 1999 Constitution. We also have here that apart from violating Ningi's fundamental rights to fair hearing, the Senate also violated the right of the people of Bauchi Central Senatorial District to representation in the Senate. An entire district cut off just because there's an issue. There were allegations that were brought up in plenary, and there are right ways to actually go about these things. Hello, good afternoon. Please turn off your radio sets. Thank you. Okay, well, let's that one too. All right, please do to call back. The number to call is 0913 6000 410. All right, so aside from that, there's just a lot to take away from that, but that's the first story. We also have the second one, which is, of course, as regards the Okoma killings and, and just empowering them. There's also other stories.
Yes. Right, because so coming up, I believe
from Surulere, how is
it's a Nigerian? It's about favoring some and
it's constituency funding, yes.
Funding, something like that.
Okay.
That some category of senators were being favored, the others were not being favored, and things like. I think it's an internal affair. It's an internal affair among the senators.
Yes, but it was in plenary, Pastor Gbadamosi. He didn't come to the market square. He was in the Senate chambers. That was where he brought this. They were in plenary, and he brought it up. All right, and there are senators that have come forward to also add to that. They have also, I don't know the word to use now, the fact that Senator Nedwoko has come forward, said he received 1 billion. We have another senator who said he received 200 million. We have another senator who said he received 2 billion. So why is there disparity as regards the amount that is being allocated to different regions? Don't you think it's right for conversation?
It has to do with the status they acquired there. You go there as a member. You are being voted there from your constituency. But when you get there, you are a member of the house.
Do you know
a member of the family?
Do you know the people who receive this constituency funding? Pastor Gbadamosi? The Senate it's not all senators. Are you aware? The high-ranking senators. It means senators who are returning senators. Those are the people.
Yes.
No. What I mean is the senators who receive funds for this constituency projects. All right. Yes. They are termed high-ranking senators, meaning senators that returned to the Senate. They were there for a term and they are back again. Yes, okay. Exactly. So all of them. There's no cadre. They are all senators, same rank. There's no you are first or you're second.
Even these consistencies funding and that, it's unconstitutional. If you go to the US, there's nothing like that. This is an executive job, but it's even themselves about this. I don't know why, but you're coming to blow the whistle like that. I don't think it's really right. You have to be disciplined. That's my statement.
Okay, well, I mean, of course, that's why we have open forum. Thank you very much, Pastor Gbadamosi. Do you agree with Pastor Gbadamosi that Senator Ningi deserves to be punished? But I would also love to ask Senator Pastor Gbadamosi. I mean, what about the people of Bauchi Central? They don't. That means for the next 3 months they won't have representation in the Senate. Is that fair to that district? That's my own question. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon.
This is Mr. Kennedy from Mushi.
Mr. Kennedy?
From Mushi.
All right, please go ahead.
It's a lovely conversation.
All right.
Dr. Curtis has dealt extensively on the whole subject matter this afternoon. First and foremost, when we're talking about Senator Ningi, he just played to the gallery. All these people, he stayed to the gallery.
Okay.
Why do I say so? I've been telling my own opinion.
Yes, of course.
Why do I say so? It's a member of the appropriation committee. All this budget was part of those who allocated all these things, all this allocation. He was there, so everything. Why is it coming out after it has been passed? That's number one. Number two, appropriation is not limited to Senate alone. It's a concurrent issue of both houses. The both houses, appropriation committee of both houses, come together to harmonize this bill before it has been passed, sent to the president for assent. The appropriation bill is not only about purview, it's not only about Senate, it's for both houses. Now, having part of those who initiated and planned this project came out, and when he was given the opportunity to defend himself, he is not in control of the subject matter. We all saw what happened. We won the plenary.
May I ask a question, Mr. Kennedy?
Yeah.
What were the allegations that Senator Ningyi posed to the Senate?
The budget was padded. The budget sent by the executive was 25 trillion.
Mm-hmm.
And it was over 3 trillion added to it. And the first statement he made has even put him off the line. Why do I say so? Mm-hmm. The budget sent to the National Assembly by the executive was not 25 trillion. It was 27.5 trillion. Am I making sense?
So let me get this right so that we can be on the same page, Mr. Kennedy.
Listen. The budget sent to the National Assembly by executive.
That's what Senator Ningyi. That's what Senator Ningyi claims, that what they approved in the House was 25, okay, and that what is being implemented now by the executive is 27.5. That difference, where did it come from, and what is it for? You don't think that that's a right question for us to talk about?
Now, it's not a right question. Why did I say so?
Okay.
He represented the London Senators Forum. That also.
No.
Why is it that
he's not representing it? It's just the chairman. He's just the chairman of. He's the chairman. He was. Yes, it was the chairman of the Northern Senators Forum.
He was the chairman of Northern
Senators Forum. Yes.
Compared to other political parties, not limited to PDP.
Yes.
He was PDP senator extraction. Now, in taking all these decisions, before he came out to blow the whistle, when he blew the whistle, why do you think it is? He was left alone. Why is it that other senators from the Northern Senator Forum did not went along with him? Why do you think so? According to him, he said it was a consensus opinion of Northern Senators Forum that am I making sense? That it was consensus opinion of all Northern senators that employed expert opinion consultants to appraise and rate the budget the path. That was why they came about.
Mr. Kennedy, I'm sorry. I'm going to have to take you back a bit. I'm so sorry because initially this interview by Senator Ningyi, where he made these allegations, is an interview that was done in Hausa language. All right. Exactly. Thank you very much. So it's not something. What we have is a translation or an interpretation of what he said, which some phrases may have been lost in translation. You understand that? Do you understand Hausa? Do you understand Hausa?
Listen. Are you saying who translated the version of the interview from Hausa to English language? They don't know what they are saying. And because they can interpret from another language to English language, you must be an expert in that language. Are you getting my point? Those who translate from Hausa surface to English language are experts in Hausa language.
All right. So we can have other callers, calling. So I think I get where you're going in from. So basically, Mr. Kennedy, correct me if I'm wrong, your position is that Senator Ningyi should not have brought the attention of the public to this 3.7 this extra 3.7 trillion that's hovering. That's one.
Not attention of the public. All of them are the same. Like, do you think he's fighting for the masses? He's fighting for himself, another cohort. Now look at the plenary. When the meeting was held, he had a meeting with Senate President. It was before the gathering of everybody. They are saying that no, he should not go to press. Even the man that the secretary of the committee now said he was surprised to hear that he went to BBC outside service to blow to go and what it was consensus that nobody should go to the press. It should be an internal affairs. It should be dealt with at the executive level. Nobody should go to. Why did he go to the press? Why did other people now just let him alone on the phone to enter the gallery? Explain to the gallery. They are not fighting for the masses. All of them are the same. I'm not supporting them, but explain to the gallery
All right, thank you, Mr. Kenny.
Taking allowance of 1 billion or 2 billion. Do you think he come out and say that? Do you think he come out and say that?
Yeah, but it's okay. It's all right. I mean, and you as well. Stay with us, not to worry. There's still a lot to talk about. That's very interesting. 0913600410. It's been quite an interesting conversation so far. I mean, there's a lot that we need to understand as regards what whistleblowing means. Okay, but maybe should people stop talking? Should they stop talking? Maybe they should stop talking. Don't trust them. Hello, good afternoon. Let's go ahead.
What they are doing. Even get to find out why this conventional this assertion. He said that based on what we read before, said Nigeria was operating 2 different budgets, one 25 trillion, the other one 27 trillion. But that was found to be false. Because even if you also listen to watch the plenary on that very day when Bambili was talking, because they narrated all what happened. That what they are trying to do was to incite people against Ababio so that he can be impeached, but the move failed. So that's what I see on that. And also, yes, I agree with the fact that the presidency sent 27 trillion to the National Assembly, but additional 1.2 trillion was added by the 1.2 trillion or so was added by the Senate. But that was not the assertion of Nengi. So we should try to separate those 2 issues.
Okay, so what's your position now, Mr. Michael?
Yeah, my position is that Nengi is just trying to blow. He's just blowing out air in the sense that he has no case, because he knew that because for politicians, they know that once they just throw up an allegation, another allegation will come up. So people will be talking about the issue. Because, for example, now people are saying that he blew wisdom or so. But people are forgetting that his allegation was totally different from what people are even talking about. His allegation was that Nigeria was running 2 different budgets. He said Nigeria was running a 5 trillion budget and 27 trillion budget. That was his major argument. For these people have already lost that original argument. People are now moving to issue of additional distance and so. Why can't we focus on his major argument that we were operating 2 different budgets, rather than focusing on the issue of party or no party? And also, this issue of party is not even start today. Not that I support it anyway, but politicians know what they are doing. And in the house, all of them have caucus. And like what Abambile said, the battle was done the day Abambile won that election. So people in the other camp felt that they are supposed to be the one that should nominate the Senate presidency. That's actually the genesis of the problem. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. This is actually quite an interesting conversation that we're having this morning. I'm seeing a lot of us, in new light. Apparently, there's always 2 sides to a coin, I guess. 0913-600410. That is the number to call. That's just one report that we are discussing. By the way, we still have the Okoma story as well. And we're also going to look at palliative sharing. That's another thing that we're also going to look at, using the situation that happened in Bauchi State as a point of focus, because what we have is that no fewer than 7 people have now died from a stampede during an arms giving exercise at Shafa Holdings Company on Jos Road in Bauchi State. It happened on Sunday. And aside from this, we've had stories coming in as well as regards when government wants to share palliative, or when they want to share, when things want to be shared, basically, or when things want to be done, and the people that will be involved are in large numbers. Crowd control is a serious problem in this country. So we're also going to look at that. That's a major cause for concern as well, especially in recent times, that there are a lot of businesses, there are a lot of private individuals, the government as well, on a palliative spree, intervention spree, social intervention spree. Just recently, we also have, an announcement that was made made recently as regards Dangote making available 80,000 bags of rice for people in Lagos State. We also have in Ogun State. The governor of Ogun State has also come forward to say that rice will be sold at 50% discount. There was also the issue that happened in Yaba where, they were sharing bags of rice. You go to buy bag of rice from customs, and some people also lost their lives, some people were injured as well. So this crowd control situation, we also need to talk about that. Aside from that, we'll also be looking at this very unfortunate story here. Two medical doctors, Michael Atiba and Where Michael, on Monday were arraigned before the Lagos State High Court in Ikeja over alleged involuntary manslaughter of a patient, Ejiro Ugorobi. That's a very unfortunate one, but we'll also be looking at that one. So there's a lot to talk about, but this budget parting conversation is a very interesting one. 0913-6000-410. It is open forum on Mainland 98.3 FM and just specifically designed for you to share your own analysis of all of the hot stories in the past 1 week. 0913-6000-410. That is the number to call. For text messages, WhatsApp messages, it's 0913-6000-430. Hello, good afternoon. Hello.
Good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon.
I just want to say something on the budget party.
All right. Your name, sir? Where are you calling from?
Relates to Senator Ningi.
Your name, sir?
I think everything that played out there.
May I know your name, please?
I said everything that played
your name.
Out there.
Can I know your name?
Politics.
Can I know your name, sir?
Okay, I'm Bolagadi.
Oh, Mr. Bolagadi, where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Abuleba.
All right, please go on.
Okay. What I saw concerning Senator Ningi and the complaints about our budget pattern was just our politics. Because this man himself was really involved. He was actively involved in this budget process. And he has already gone to Akpabio. He discussed with some other senators who told him that since the final report of the budget has not been given, he should take it easy until that is done. But he didn't wait. He went straight to the press, not our local press, to BBC, Hausa, to say this. And even being an opposition, you will say that the man just played into the gallery. Not that the budget was started, because when he was explaining, even at the Senate, he said that he never said that the budget was started. And truly that is what he said in Hausa. So you just discover that at the end of the day, he was even perplexed. But he was just trying to save his face by saying that he was so afraid he could be suspended because he already knew what the consequence of that would be. So to me, it's just politics. It's just politics.
All right.
And he deserves to be punished for what he has done. So the lawyers are saying that it is illegal for them to, because of the constituency he came from, he did not represent that constituency right. He would have maybe brought politics into how much he also would be giving, so that he would do much for his constituency instead of bringing issues that never actually happened. That's the way I see it.
All right. Thank you very much for sharing your own thoughts, Mr. Bolagadi. Appreciate. Hello, good afternoon.
Yeah, hello, good afternoon. It's Omobola Sandra.
Yes, correct.
Yeah, my name is Mr. Sunday, calling from Ikeja.
All right, Mr. Sunday, please go ahead.
Yeah, it's a very sad comment to Nigeria, because when they used to say Nigeria doctors, professional doctors. They are jackpotting to outside countries, to UK, and doing their work. And all of them are jackpot. They are doing their work there successfully. They are progressive. They say some people say they should allow them to go. That the ones that go to school that they are in Nigeria, they will put them into the system. They will recruit them. Now, they have recruited them now into different hospitals. Instead of them to go and slaughter cow inside the market, they are slaughtering human beings now inside the hospital. So, I don't know. Our government should do the right thing. We should beg our professional doctors to come back home and teach this one that they are slaughtering human beings instead of to slaughter cow. That's just what I have to say.
Oh, thank you very much. Appreciate. Brain drain. That's another serious issue that we are having in this country. So, as regards a lot of things, not just professionals now. All right, 0913 6000 410, 0913 6000 410. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Malam Salau. I'm calling from Malak.
Oh, Malam Salau. Please go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. Is it allowed to speak outside this topic?
Yes, it's open forum.
Okay. Now, I just want to respond to one of the topics that was discussed on my cultural channel.
Okay.
On ⴏ ⴏ.
Okay.
You understand? So I totally disagree with the panel on ⴏ because he's overrated politically. You understand? Hello?
Yes, I'm with you.
ⴏ is overrated by them. As it is to the ⴏ is not a political threat to Mr. President. You understand? For the re-election of 2027, if actually he wants to for a contest. Or rather, he's using a threat to the people as a party. You understand?
Okay.
Because when I look at it carefully, I still know why ⴏ become a threat. Anyway, one, he's no longer in government as a sitting governor. This is number one. Number two, if you look at the southwest, how he come from, where he came from, you understand? It's not a threat now. The Gawa state where Badaru is on ground, they are more benefited. The whole of northern part of Nigeria, there is no state that benefited more from this government like the Gawa state. Kano is no go area for him. Katsina is the home state of the former president, who he choose to root to him when he want to, during the marriage time. You understand? Katsina is the only state that have two ministers in the whole northern part of Nigeria as a sister, and that was done in the honor of the former president. You understand? So, are you talking of Zamfara? Zamfara is a state where it's already in opposition there. Is the party, and General Gᴏ is there. Or are you talking that he's going there and select, the current minister of state of this thing? Or is he talking of Kebbi, where Atiku Bagudu is the minister of budget and planning, and at the same time a two-time governor who just launched at the former controller of customs that became a governor, something Heluru, something that is a senator now. Are we talking of Sokoto, where no Mamako is there? Who is he going to move there and have a seat in that country? Nothing. So if you look at it carefully, he has no political value as it is today now. You understand? If you go to where he can make small impact, that he can use religious sentiment a bit to have their support. It's Kaduna, where is that maybe this present governor Obasanjo is doing something to push some of his policies there. Madam Sandra, are you with me?
I'm with you, Malam Salam.
So when you look at it carefully, even in the southwest, northwest where he came from,
you think El Rufai has lost his political relevance?
No, he has a political relevance not to the extent to make any political damage to anybody.
Oh, okay.
Because if you look at it, Madam Sandra, you see, Rufai is that kind of political politician that happens to be very smart. He takes advantage of something to make something out of it. If you want makes him to be more popular, during even 1999, he take advantage of former vice president and the former president, who somebody happen to be in good books of him that he make his district. You understand? When it comes to even his election to be a governor of a Kaduna state, nobody died under popularity. He became a governor of Kaduna state because of that time, 2015, the shadow house moved to Buhari. Buhari is so much popular that anybody who laugh under him can achieve his political gain. That is what makes him to be a governor. Governor. As it is, in my own opinion, he has no any danger into the president or rather APC as a party in 2027. So it's better for him to go back to reconcile with this political thing. Though you are offended, maybe he can just reconsider. You understand? To give him another appointment, but to up and down. And lastly, even at that time, I told them that the only danger now, I probably have to look. He has to be focused because Erufai has had a meeting with the Gindi. You know, I've told you his opportunity. You want to take advantage of this certain misunderstanding in the Senate to cause some damage, political damage. That one is certain can happen if he's not careful. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you very much, Malam Salah. I appreciate. Stay with us as you know the show continues. It is still open forum on mainland 98.3 FM, and in case you're just joining, yes, I mean just any of the current issues or any of the public stories or any of the top news that has caught your attention in the course of the week, and you like to give your own analysis of it on radio, that's what we're doing right now. It's open mic, open forum. Your voice, it's time to make your voice known as regards nation building. Just a quick background to what Malam El-Rufai was trying to say on Sunday on Political Roundtable. One of the focal points or one of the topics that was pushed forward was the 2027 some permutations as regards 2027. So apparently there's a video that recently surfaced on social media showing Mr. El-Rufai, former governor of Kaduna State, at the headquarters of SDP, Social Democratic Party. And the video has been generating quite some reactions on social media. There are speculations that maybe, just maybe, the former governor may be considering moving to SDP ahead of the 2027 general elections, because what we know from outside now is that Mr. El-Rufai, and so as regards that one, and he quietly stepped back. All right, so that's where Malam El-Rufai picked his own area of focus from as regards that particular, as regards the relations campaign period. I remember very clearly was deflecting to Nasir El-Rufai. So I come to play. All right. And now, this is the same way that we said, oh, don't pay attention. What can 5 governors do out of how many governors? What can 5 men presidential election that was held in 2023? Just going to put that out there and play devil's advocate. But then, although there have been, there's been a statement of some sort, from spokesperson of El-Rufai, Muyiwa Adekeye, who said that El-Rufai merely visited the headquarters of SDP to see his friend. That's all we have. So apparently, Mr. Shehu Gambam, who is the national chairman of SDP, happens to be Malam Nasir El-Rufai's friend, and that El-Rufai went to SDP headquarters to see his friend. So let's leave it at that. That's what he said, and that's what we're going to work with. 0913-6000-410. That is the number to call. I'll take a very short break now. I'll be right back. It is Open Forum on Mainland 98.3.
When your whole world comes crashing down, please look up. Assemble the team. It's showtime. The brains waking up.
What'd you have for breakfast?
We are the sound of Lagos, and this is Mainland 98.3 FM.
You didn't see that coming, did you?
Dear Nigerians, I am determined, I repeat, to give you the affordable and reliable power.
The stakes are higher than ever.
Government policy does not support youth in this country. So if you say you have any idea, one day, one way or the other.
The conversations are louder than imagined. The expectations are greater. The demand for quality blueprints needed to make informed decisions is constantly being reviewed.
You can't start hiding under party or anything. We are leaders that are entrusted by our people. Come and speak on their behalf.
The Situation Room on 98.3 Mainland FM provides the platform where all of your demands are met. Issue-based conversations about politics, policies, leadership and governance in Nigeria and around the world. Join us every Mondays through Fridays from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. as we engage and interact towards setting the agenda for proper accountability and public engagements. The Situation Room is here. We welcome the roommates.
Critical conversations in the political, economic, and social space has become extremely important.
There's a need for a lot of people, not even the political party, those in the civil society, those who believe in Nigerian emancipation of people from the shackle of poverty.
More than ever before, Nigerians now deserve to be heard. We all need a voice.
Nigeria of nowadays, we are suffering. People come and Gari, we can't buy Gari again. Gari has come as a cocaine. Food we can't buy, rice we can't buy, we can't feed our...
Jᴏɪᴜ Omobola Sandra every Thursday, 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. on Mainland 98.3 FM to lend your voice and speak to the real issues affecting the Nigerian state. Open Forum. Your time to talk is now.
Yes, we're back. It is the Open Forum on Mainland 98.3 FM. Thank you for staying with us. Don't forget the number to call to join the conversation or to start up your own conversation is 0913 6000 410. 0913 6000 410. We've had quite an array of conversations, topics so far on the show. So if any of the topics we have brought if any of the topics we have brought up so far did not get your attention and you have one that is burning inside of you, you want to let it out, please do well to call in and share your thoughts. Now, we are also live on Facebook. You can drop your messages on Facebook as well if you're unable to reach us via the phone line 0913 6000 410. The time right now is 2:40 p.m. That's 20 minutes to 3. So I still have a few more minutes to go on the show. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Oh, good afternoon, Madam Ife.
That Madam Ife is triple A.
Triple A. Oh, okay. All right. Please speak a little louder. Apologies for that. All right, Triple A, please go ahead.
You see, I'm not going to talk much.
Okay.
The house that is troubling Nigeria will be exposed and disgraced. So nobody should have any tension. Nobody should have the first mind. The house that is troubling Nigeria will be exposed and disgraced. God bless Nigeria.
Okay. I struggled a bit. I don't know if anybody heard that. Please.
I said, are you hearing me?
Okay. Yes.
Yes, I said I am not going to talk much on the issue.
All right.
I said the homes that are troubling Nigeria will be exposed and disgraced.
Oh, okay. Okay. Amen. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
I appreciate. Okay. Well, 0913 6000 410. 0913 6000 410. For text messages, WhatsApp messages, 0913 6000 430. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Yes.
This is Omobola Sandra.
Yes.
This is King.
Oh, okay, from Mushin.
Hello. Yeah. The other time, Senator Nigi has gotten all the time on the issue of killings in Delta.
Okay.
Because barbaric is something that should not be thinking about. Our heart goes to the families of the
get a so happy with Almighty God.
Amen.
What I want to say is, community should not shade the perpetrators of these heinous acts. We should expose them and let justice be served to them. That's the most important thing. Yeah. On the issue of El-Rufai.
Okay.
El-Rufai is not a political big group. He is no more in power. If he go to SDP, go to any other party, he cannot contest. He cannot change the tide against the president if he's contesting in 2027. Why do I say so? I alluded and concur with what Madam Shababa said.
Okay.
Politics is dynamic. If you are not in power, he's no more governor. He can change so many things, resources and other things. He cannot command the crowd thought he commands if you are not in power. Why do you think during the last election, when the former chairman of the APC flew that time, saying that Ahmed Lawan was the consensus candidate of APC? Why do you think all the APC governors went for him and they turned their back against him? Because politics is about interest. The northern governors presently as present constituted will not allow El-Rufai interest to override their own interest because they are in power. They go along with the person in power. So El-Rufai has so many enemies. He may want to put the stock confirmation as a ministerial nominee on the president. What he thought that if the president, although the president has the power to override the decision of the Senate by using him, because that has been done during Obasanjo time. Remember the Minister for Education, Professor Abolisha, whose nomination was rejected several times by Senate, and Obasanjo used the overriding power to make him minister. If that is what El-Rufai is looking up to, that this president should have done that for him. He has so many enemies, even within Kaduna itself. Don't forget the patient that came from his own state. And the president will not will allow El-Rufai political interest to jeopardize or affect his own interest. That's why he left it solely for the Senate to decide. But for him to turn things down, if he thinks he can go against the president and have him defeated in the election, he's joking. He's joking. He has nowhere to go. Have a lovely day.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you very much.
For me? You have any question for me? I'll answer you.
I don't have any question for Mr. Kede, but it seems you just you enjoy our conversations, Mr. Kede. I enjoy our conversations as well. Thank you very much.
Milan FM is one of the best stations when it comes to political analysis and expression.
Keep
it up.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Yes. Trust me, I enjoy our conversations, Mr. Kende. It's always a delight. You bring a new perspective to so many things. A very interesting perspective, if I might add. 0913-6000-410. 0913-6000-410. That's the number to call. Hello, good afternoon.
Madam Sandra.
Okay.
Madam Sandra, I beg, make no visible, because this is the only platform that will have more time to talk. I beg, make no visible. Let me tell you something, madam. You see this president, he has no any obstacle that can stop him in 2027. You know, always when I criticize this government, I criticize this. But you know, politics is not a game of emotion, it's a practical game. You understand?
Okay.
You see, in 2027, as it will be election one, tribal sentiment will come in. That is ethnic sentiment will come in. Even the vote that he didn't get in 2023 because of a Muslim chicken from the northern part of Nigeria, the fear of the northern Christians at that time that if this president became a president, maybe they will be certain outside of Christians. Fortunately, the reverse is the case. You understand?
Okay.
So he is going to get some votes from the Christian side of it. You understand? Because their fear is that the Muslim chicken something may go against Christianity or whatever agenda of Islamization or whatever. And unfortunately, reverse is the case. That is another this thing. Two, I look at the candidate who is even the candidate from the northern part of Nigeria in 2023 that can even contest with this president. I'm a northerner. You understand? I'm from Connaught. You see, Atiku will even have problem if he decided to contest. The only person that can give president Wahala in 2027, unfortunately, in the wrong party. If to say he's in PDP, then he's going to give president a very tough fight. But unfortunately, he's in the wrong party. He's an NNPP. That is Konkoso. Because Konkoso has a massive followership from the northern, from the youth. So if they look at him as somebody that have a northern agenda, so he may have that. But unfortunately, he's in the wrong party. So who is going to contest with him? Now look at Erufai. If Erufai go to SDP, okay, I'm not all about what SDP. SDP is not good. Even with Baro Association, if you contest under SDP in the northern part of Nigeria, you cannot win. With Baro Association, SDP senators, right? The president Jᴏɪᴜ. In America, we have a lot of party outside the popular SDP even is going down. So APC has a distance. This is another. Lastly, I don't think that we'll have a free and fair election as we used to have even 2023 in 2027. Why? Because the Supreme Court has already moved out all these visa. As it was before, and we have seen the sample how election will be in 2027 in Imo and tell me how somebody will not go. You are welcome, ma. You are welcome. Thank you, ma.
Thank you very much, Madam Salah. Just to put that information out there, SDP they had quite a good outing. Yeah. All right. So they have 5 parties that you should shove aside, and just like that having a governor. Let's just put that out. Okay. So 0913600410. Hello. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah. Hi, Sandra.
Hi. How are you doing? May I know your name, please?
I'm Dan Dakazi. I'm calling from Lagos.
All right. Dami, please go ahead.
Dan Dakazi.
Dan Dakazi. Oh, okay. Apologies for that. Okay, I got that.
Yeah.
So Dan Dakazi, go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. Nice job you are doing over here. Like for you guys being informative and giving us accurate and credible information. Things that we're supposed to know. Like until we start asking questions for like what happened, how did we get here? Nigeria is like if you look at everything that is happening, right from everything that you and like people that we are not even in power, like they are not doing anything. Like they're just giving us peanuts of what we are supposed to have. Like look at other countries, like look at us. And this thing is supposed to be happening from you want to run a country, you are supposed to have the basic things that we need, at least if you're not doing much, at least road, light, food, health, and other basic things that we need. Like, what does it cost for them to like provide those? And you hear them buying SUV, you hear them spending money. Please, what is the politician doing with 1 billion? Like a senator rather. Like, why? What are they doing? Who is like accountable for those? Like, who is checkmating them? Is there anybody that's supposed to be checkmating them? Is there any organization are supposed to be doing that? Because they are playing, they are playing like they are really playing and taking us for jokes, and like we're taking it easy. 20 years ago, we know how things were. You know how things were. At least you are older than me, and imagine how it could continue 20 years from now. Just like imagine like you pray. No, we pray for better things while we work hard. We have to apply our own effort. Just look at how the 20 years can come, and these things are playing that we're saying. We could watch sports like channels, sport matches on national like NTA pack. At least when things were still like things were shaking there, but so it hasn't gotten to this level. Now we can't see things. They are not providing for all things that could make us sustainable. And we are talking about insecurity. Please, they are not planning all these things, because you can't tell me you come to my house, like I'll come to your house, I'll pack this thing 200, and I'll travel all the way to Baga here, and nobody will yarn. How is that done? That prison break thing you guys talked about, no, when I settlement break, you binance people, like you, black person, you jant, white man go bring body. From where now? How you like it's not done. It's not done. There should be a complete overhaul of the government if you want to move forward. And you know that it's not if they are playing always trouble. It is well.
All right.
Nice one, Sandra.
Thank you very much, Danda Kazi. I appreciate you joining the conversation. But as regards what we are going to use the 1 billion for, I think Senator Kwame Bamidele came forward. He said that in the next 12 months we should be expecting street lights, borehole, and whatnot. From the constituency projects. That's I'm quoting him. I'm not. That's what he said. So all of the constituency funding and all of that these senators get, that is what they expect us to expect from them. I don't know why, because when you look at it from a critical point of view, you think that legislatures are there to legislate, which is to create laws. All right, create laws. That's if you look at it from a critical point of view. But here we are, we have our senators receiving tokens and prayers, having access to constituency funds or constituency projects, and at the end of the day we see wheelbarrows and we see boreholes and streetlights. I don't know, but that's what they said. As regards the prison break, Binance, Mr. Anjawala, what we have is that they said he went to pray, to break his fast, the Ramadan fast. So he went to pray, and then from the praying grounds did not see him again. How he disappeared, although the personnel, the people responsible for holding him have been are currently being investigated. I think that's the latest that I have as regards that particular story. So there were two of them. So Mr. Anjawala is the one who has left the country, and what we have now is those who are supposed to be responsible for holding him are currently being investigated. That's the last I hear of that particular situation. But yes, it is quite an interesting story, if you ask me. It is quite an interesting one. It's a very funny one as well. 0913-6000-410. I think we're going to take one more phone call as we wrap things up this afternoon on Open Forum. I have a message here on WhatsApp. Yes, I have a message here on WhatsApp that says Senator Ningi knows the rules of the House as a ranking senator, but still went ahead to address the press. When you're supposed to table your complaints to the whole House for investigation, instead, he went to the press to whip ethnic sentiment. Olu from Badagry. And that's still on the budget padding conversation. That is coming up because the latest we have as regards that now is that Senator Ningi has written to Senate President Godswill Akpabio through his lawyer, Femi Falana, SAN, that if he is not reinstated, because he was suspended, all right, so that if he's not reinstated as back to the House, he's going to take the entire Senate to court, and that's where we started that particular report from. We also had a conversation around the Okwama killings as well, and the empowerment, or we call it empowerment, or the power that's given to militants and militant leaders in the Niger Delta, the proliferation of weapons in the Niger Delta, the fact that non-state actors have access to ammunitions, weapons, and ammunitions that they're not supposed to have access to, due to the government empowering them to secure our pipelines. We also had a conversation around whistleblowing in the Senate, also came up. That is what Open Forum is all about. There's no time limit with how long you can share your analysis or share your contribution. It's Open Forum. So join me again next week Thursday from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. 2 hours just dedicated to listener to join the conversation. And if any of the stories that's been brought to the table on Open Forum is not something that you would like to talk about, but you have something that is burning inside of you, you can bring it up. Let's have a conversation around it. I need to bid my farewell at this time now. Just as I mentioned, that's a wrap for today on Open Forum. Join me again next week Thursday from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. Open mic specifically designed for our listener to share your own analysis, your own voice as regards nation building. Coming up next on Mainland 98.3 FM is Afro Timeout with Jadan, and after that we have the Situation Room with Okwemi Akinyode. All right, so you do not want to miss any one of these programs. Stay with us, don't go anywhere. My name still remains Omobola Sandra.
Critical conversations in the political, economic, and social space has become extremely important.
There's a need for a lot of people, not even the political party, those in the civil society, those who believe in Nigerian emancipation of people from the shackle of poverty.
More than ever before, Nigerians now deserve to be heard. We all need a voice.
Nigeria of nowadays, we are suffering. People come on Gari, we can't buy Gari again. Gari has come as a cocaine. Food we can't buy, rice we can't buy, we can't feed our...
Jᴏɪᴜ Omobola Sandra every Thursday, 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. on mainland 98.3 FM to lend your voice and speak to the real issues affecting the Nigerian state. Open Forum. Your time to talk is now.
I had a rumor. This is Mainland 98.3 FM, the sound of Lagos.